Okay. All right, let's get this started. Welcome, everyone. Everyone is settled down? All good? All good. All right, first of all, I want to thank each and everyone in this room for coming. This event, CleanFest, has been months in planning. All the hard work from the ladies in the office and some of the guys too. Thank you so much. Let's get a big hand of applause for the service team. Yes. All right. Cool. So we're here today as the last part of our inaugural event called CleanFest. And you might be wondering, why am I in an event called CleanFest? Yeah. Okay.
Better tell them,
Yeah. So we created CleanFest as a way to celebrate the relationships between the service team, the trades, our partners, and the Strata managers, our clients. It's a way for us to say, this is a community that we want to build, and we want to celebrate it all with everyone. If David wants to say something about CleanFest?
No, thanks for coming, guys. It's a very good turnout. I'll have a little joke. It's better than our basketball where half the customers didn't show up. Or the baseball game where the Canucks actually made the playoffs, and 3/4 of the customers didn't show up. So,
That was a dark day.
yeah, that was a dark day. No, it's great. I mean, the idea of this event, like Kevin said, is to just give you an example. So we were here at 6:30 this morning. A lot of the office did a fantastic job of getting this room ready and prepped. We love our beautiful signs, kind of a joke in our office here. But we had the team from the office to front line, and we celebrated, we recognized, and we talked cleaning until about 12:30, and some are still here. And then at 1 o'clock, we had a bunch of trades come in. Then we had a gentleman from Salesforce talking about sales. We had a gentleman from Schedule talking about field service and shift management, which is what we do. And then we had myself talking about sales, and now this is the last part of the afternoon, and we're almost at the finish line, and let's get going.
Okay, before we start the last session,
Uh-oh.
yeah, I just want to introduce the speakers.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Okay, I'm sure everyone knows everyone here. It's a very small industry.
I want to introduce one of them.
I'm wondering who.
No.
Okay, let's start from the farthest part of the room over there. Okay, so everyone want to welcome Thomas McGreer of AWM. Right over here, Jevon Ryan from Associa. David Locke from Duka Property Management.
And Ann Benoit, my baby sister.
There you go. So thanks so much.
I'm only 1 year older, but anyway.
14 months, let's be real.
Alright. To the four of you, thank you so much for coming, and thank you for contributing your insights and knowledge in the industry. We really appreciate it. So David's going to lead the conversation about the evolving relationships of Strata managers and the trades all throughout the years that they've been working together. But we only have one mic for four of you, so just
Slackers.
feel free to pass the mic along.
I think I can go without. No, I'm just joking.
Okay, you probably can.
We probably could do it.
Okay, so I want to start off by framing the discussion a little bit, so you can probably see over here better, but one thing we do in our office for customer service training and understand the industry, because it's pretty unique, is that we call it the Dominoes, okay? I'm not calling you guys Dominoes, okay? But we have, in our Dominoes, we have the property manager, the strata council, owners, site contacts, and general public. So the first domino is the property manager. But if you don't handle the rest of the dominoes very well, you got a problem, okay? So, again, this speaks to the last quote I had down there, where one approval can lead to 500 customers. Okay, so you get approved for, we'll use our company, carpet cleaning, okay? And all of a sudden, Freddie has 500 customers. Well, how? Well, we all know we have the strata councils, the people who live in the building manager, the general public, but you've also got the property manager, right? So one thing that we've learned, and you still have to keep working on this over the 30 years we've been servicing stratas, is 90% of our business is stratas, is that you have to understand the dominoes and treat them all, properly. You have to have systems in place. You have to have customer experience platforms in place to be able to handle all the dominoes. So the property manager doesn't feel the effect if you don't handle the dominoes well. Does that make sense? So, Kevin, you want to switch to the next slide? So today, we were going to make this interactive, but we wanted to talk about the roles that trades play in that process, get your guys' thoughts on how they can handle it, and really talk about anything you want to talk about. Okay? So the first question we'll start with is, how important is that trades understand owners, councils, and site contacts? But feel free to go wherever you want.
You got the mic, my friend.
I know. So how important is it that trades understand owners, councils, and site contacts? I think the biggest thing with trades is you need to know who you're meeting and what you're meeting them for. So if the manager sends you out to do something as a trade, don't speak to that individual who you're talking to about what you find before you're going back to the manager. That happens a lot where you don't understand that council member doesn't know what you're saying, and then they go back and they're like, the world's ending. Everyone's gonna die. The carpet's lifting, the vents are clogged, we're all dead. So if you're meeting with a council member, just meet with them. You don't have to give them an update there. Say, listen, I'm gonna get this fully reported, and then I'm gonna get, we're gonna get you something formal. Site managers are our best friends and also our worst enemies, right? Because if they don't like us as a management company, they'll sue us. If they like us as a management company, they're gonna be there to support you the best way they can. That's where you need to ask the manager, who am I meeting and what am I doing when I go there? Should I be giving them any updates? And 9 times out of 10, they're gonna say, don't say anything. just report back to me. So, how important is it? Probably the most important thing.
Gotcha. Okay. That's good. Really good.
Following on about this and that, I think a lot of that kind of talks about this and speaks to context. And a lot of times the manager knows that, and as trades, you could be walking into an absolute just fun house of fun, or a carnival, or just or just the easiest group. You don't know that. A lot of times trades will come up, and all of a sudden an owner will appear out of nowhere and wants to know everything. And it's fine not to be as you. I mean, sure, you do need to be friendly, but like redirect that person. Just like, yeah, great, yeah, no, wonderful that you brought me that information. There will be a report that will be forthcoming. I'll get that to your manager, and they'll be speaking to council. I mean, shutting them down is great, but there's also kind of like a nice way of just doing that from my experience, because as David was alluding to, loose lips sink ships, and also in stratas and in multi-living setups in general, not only there's dominoes, there's a web of competing interests. And like a spider web, one little shake can lead to holes or vibrations all over the place, or big spiders jumbling and running all. Anyway, I don't know where I'm going with this metaphor. But you kind of get it, right?
You're scaring us.
Yeah.
Pest control.
Jump in here, guys! Come on, help me out!
Sure. This might segue into the next one, or the next question, but when it comes to like the councils, before you go to the building, I always am a really big fan of making sure you understand like where the project is coming from. It doesn't really matter how small it is, right? There's a big difference in showing up to fact check your annual carpet cleaning price that you've been doing for 10 years. It's different if you're bidding against 2 other people. You do sort of want to know, what is the actual likelihood of success for this? Is this a price I just need on paper? Have that conversation before you spend the time on site. I found that's a way better way where long term you're more likely to know sort of how am I going to predict getting this work? Like where is my time benefit sort of reward going to be in getting the service, right? We will do it often where we have a council who wants 5 quotes on something that's $1,000. I've been doing this 20 years, I don't need 5 quotes for anything that costs $1,000. I know what costs $1,000 or not. So if someone's asking you to be part of that 5, you should know as the trade. Because you can give me an $1,100 price in 3 minutes without going to the site.
Yes.
But you're not getting the work. But now you know, and your cost benefit analysis is great. Or you can give me a $500 price and buy the job. Sometimes you just have to be very honest, knowing what you're going into to decide how you're spending your time. Not every job is coming to you as a trade, right? And the same is for a PM. There's ways to manage people's expectations on the council side. We know what they're doing with the ask. So it does kind of dovetail into your second question about approving work. That's very specific. So some are price focused, some care about quality, there's all of these things. Sometimes what we see comes up is you put everything in a quote, you bold 4 or 5 sentences, but there's too many words because people don't read because it's hard. And how many people in here have read a book in the last 12 months? Yeah, see what I mean? It's not a lot of hands. Okay, so we don't read a lot. But there's a big price difference, and Dave and I have had this conversation when it comes to safety elements. You can do something for $2,500 or $1,800. The people doing it for $2,500 will probably have a better safety element. That's one of those things from a, like, what are councils looking for? If they're looking for price and they're comparing 3 things, if you don't put your safety part of that price right next to the dollar amount, they are not gonna read it 5 sentences below. They lose it. But the difference between Johnny gutter cleaning and a service is there's safety components in there that make up that price that needs to be explained. That's one of the biggest things we deal with in all the trades when they're getting onto roofs and things like that. I'm not climbing up on a 40-foot ladder, but I know how to do it properly.
Or understanding things like additional add-on costs that can come up. Because as we all know, certain jobs, sure, it is gonna be just $1,200, $1,300. But depending on the setup of the place, the Strata Corporation, I guess, which we've been primarily talking about, how that building is set up can really affect the time factor for the trades. I guess from its pure kind of logistical, but also it's kind of structural. Like, it's 4 stories with gutters and weird spots, so you're gonna have to have a boom lift. So laying out things, I think, clearly and easy to spot, if not read, if they do read, is always very helpful.
Page
And
1.
clear, and on page 1, with big font. Big font. I see a lot of proposals that will come across me where, like, yeah, there's the price and it's like this, but then way down the bottom of the page are all kind of the little conditions that are going to escalate that cost. And your eyes go right to the big printing. And so if it's well there and clear and concise, it's easy to understand. It's almost like you go to, like, newspapers used to deliberately write to, like, almost like a grade 2 audience, right? They used to, anyway. But I mean, it's that sort of concept where it's clear, easy to understand, laid out, beautiful colors and things that are not too distracting.
And to go back to, I'm gonna tell you, I fire trades whose crew chit-chats owners on site. I do.
Wow, that's
I will give one warning, David knows that.
It's cold.
It's cold, but when I engage a trade, they know my rules, right? Ed, you do that, I know that. Let's not even lie. Because as David says, you have no idea the can of worms you open up for us, right? It could produce 15 emails in our world that we can't fix, right? And to go to what Tom says, property manager calls you after they've asked you to quote, pick up that call. We're gonna tell you the lay of the land. We're gonna tell you what to watch out for, who to watch out for. If you were just a price that we're getting and they've used the same service provider for decades, we do not wanna waste your time either. And I think that's respectful to trades. I've always operated my career that I need a trade more than they need me, because it's true, right? As far as what do councils care about most when approving work, God, it varies from building to building.
Would you guys say, like, the majority of what you see is price driven or quality driven?
Depends.
So in the past year, price, before that it was quality. So now the question is, what's the price point that we can maintain quality at? So every single building that we have, like that you guys have serviced, you're doing renewals of carpet cleaning, they've gone out to get second quotes just to make sure that you're competitive. That happens tons, and that's where the managers need to communicate with the trades. We can kind of tie into how can trades help you navigate the owners as well with this answer, where the trades need to educate on what they're doing, but they also have to maintain the standard on their end, because complacency is real, right? Everybody has a building, they're signed to a 3-year contract or whatever it is. And then they don't see the value in it anymore, so now they wanna go out to market. But right now, definitely is price, so for all of you that are in here, sharpen your down pencils before you send us stuff to save us time. But if you look at it for what it is, if you have a strata council who wants to get information, every single manager that you're dealing with, if you don't know their name and you don't know them well, consider them to be new. And if you consider all those managers that you don't know well to be new and you're explaining things in your email to them, they can then shine when they send the quote to the council. Managers are not inherently lazy, but they'll do things in a lazy way. They'll just say, please see the attached. Please see the attached.
But if you give us a blurb that we can cut and paste.
Correct. Right, and I do this for my managers. I've done this when I worked with other managers. I write things in such a way that they can copy my words and use my words as their words. Because I don't need councils to like me, I need them to love the manager.
Yep.
The last thing I want councils to do is know that I exist.
Yeah.
If they know that I exist, that means there's a problem. So if you do that when you send a quote, say, here's a write-up that you can send to the council. If the manager isn't an idiot, they won't forward the email, they'll copy paste and say, hi everybody, please see the attached quote, here's an that helps you help the manager look good so that you then get the work. Managers, I tell all of my managers this, I'm married, I think I'm the head of my household, I think I'm the guy. Why is it that I never choose where we go on vacation? My wife gives me 3 options. She says, which one do you want to go on? And then I choose one. So she gives me a choice that I feel. But so if you look at a manager is the wife, right? And the council is the husband. So a good wife can turn the head any way they want. No, I'm serious, think about it. If a manager's doing their job right, they can turn the head any way they want to look at any trade. So you need to be the trade that helps them look good. Make sense?
Hey, that was free. The next one costs $50.
I'm so sorry I trained him, guys. I apologize for that.
I think that was your fault.
It's my fault.
I think I've even used similar comparisons before when talking with my team as
Yeah.
well, so. No, it is, it's like you're in a weird polygamous relationship. Anyway, going back to the,
I don't know why we on this kind of
they invited us.
How's the latest edition?
We'll be here all night. Yeah, but also just kind of going back to kind of the question about care and improving work. It's very easy to send in a quote that's really low. And yes, they are looking for price 9 times out of 10. However, if you want to be working there again, or working with other buildings again as well, if you're going to commit to a price, you also have to commit to that quality and follow through on the other end. Because I mean, we've all seen and worked with, like, all of a sudden there's this email that comes out of nowhere from somebody that I don't know when they're offering this ridiculously low price.
Do you
And it's
actually
like,
open them?
well, sometimes, but
Oh,
sometimes
you're a good
not. I've had my team come like, what is this? Like, I've never worked with these people before. And it's like, well, neither have I. I mean, it is a quote that's come to your account, so you're gonna have it. It's for them. You may feel obligated to show it to them, especially if it's a ridiculously low price. And maybe that will be a winning thing because, of course, like we said, they're cheap. But if there's not that follow-through service, if there's not that follow-through with making things work and not creating a bunch of time and wasted energy for everybody in those dominoes that we were looking at, then probably not gonna get that building again. They're gonna make us look bad, and it's gonna be difficult for you as well too in order to try to get business with others, because I mean, councils will know, they'll tell their friends. Building managers will know, they'll tell their friends, and managers will know and they'll tell their
Oh, all
colleagues as
building
well.
managers know building managers, let's
We gotta go to
go.
that
Yeah,
side of the park.
Yeah.
You guys going on after that?
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's almost like, what does a property manager care most about when approving work? And I think to what David was trying to say, property managers aren't necessarily inherently lazy, but your average one wants to be able to press the forward button and say, please handle. Like, that's about the extent of how much time your average one has. So I look at it in touch points. right? If the property manager has to manage every aspect of the job you're doing on site, they're doing too much. They want to trust you to do it properly, do it efficiently, communicate throughout the job, give us a nice lovely report, so the next time we touch it after approval is here's your completion report, invoice is good to pay, it's been inspected on site. If there's touch points constantly, in and out of that, in and out, the property manager is gonna get exhausted. The good managers are gonna take that to the council and say, I touched this thing from approval once, had to do no oversight on site, the job's done and the site staff's good, move on to the next time, let's book them next year. That's how you get that process going. But if you're in and out and touching it too much, the councils don't always know what they want. So you have to kind of tell them what they want. If the manager's satisfied, most councils aren't there to reinvent the job, some are. They're gonna trust you and you're gonna move on. And that's how you can literally book next year's window cleaning within a week of the last one being paid. And that's the best system you can ever have in place.
Set it and forget it. Is anybody here garbage? Is there any garbage haulers here? No? Okay, so garbage is one of those things.
No, we do have
Garbage-
service
I have
junk
something to
removal
say.
here.
So garbage is one of those things that we set up and it gets pulled out and it gets put back in and no one talks about it. No one talks about garbage until there's a problem. Every trade that works with managers needs to think, they need to set it and forget it. They signed you, they approved you, they gave you the information for access, pick up the keys. If we don't hear anything, you're the first person they call next year. Every single time.
Well, I do exactly what Tom does. I try to book the service. Once they've completed it, we're booking it for next year. I don't want to talk about it. I'll even go as far to, you've had this service provider for 4 years. I booked them, same price as last year. Here's your notice. Oh, you're very welcome. Because they'll just thank you, right? We want efficiencies. I purposely don't go to cheap trades for quotes for my buildings because I don't want to deal with the bullshit that happens afterwards, be honest. Right? I want to engage a trade like Tom says where I don't want to hear from you again. I've awarded you the work. I want my final report. I want my councils to be happy. I want to move on. But more importantly, I will always book a trade that if a mistake happens, and let's be real, property managers make mistakes. I oversee 22 property managers. I've had people not post notices for inside dryer vent cleaning, for an example.
Who'd you point to?
It happened to poor Chris.
Yeah.
Right? So you want trades that will have our back at that point too, right? Because I view this as a relationship and we will need help sometimes, guys. I also caution you to have a roster of 35 different dryer vent cleaners, 35 different window companies. How are you building that relationship that benefits your client if you're doing that? You're not, right?
I always love to be able to present 3 quotes and tell the client I have hired and fired every one of these and I still work with them.
Yeah.
Because with over 20 years, I'm sure I've terminated David's poor company.
Oh, I fired him.
See,
Yeah.
awkward. Thanks, David, that's been great. You have to, because you have to be able to rely on them the next day for another client.
You do.
And so you have to be honest with the upfront, you have to be honest with the feedback, otherwise it all breaks down, and then you become that manager who can't get a good trade to show for their building because they undercut other trades.
Exactly.
Those people get right off in our industry. They are the problem. They're
Good
not gonna be
property
building a
manager
road, right?
steers the whole thing to
Yes.
good trades with work safe coverage, fall safe plans, everything. Not Johnny in the back of his truck. Right?
Okay, well,
Because
let's
there's
talk
nothing
about
happen.
Johnny in the back of the truck and scopes of work. Because one thing I find is that, we'll use floor care as an example. So say anybody gives you a quote for carpet cleaning and somebody's quoting you for extraction cleaning, but someone else is actually doing a maintenance cleaning.
Very different.
They just say carpet cleaning. Like, cool. So let's say carpet cleaning, $400, and anybody might say carpet cleaning, $800, because it's a different system, it's a different type of work. I don't know what you guys can do about that.
Well, I know about carpet cleaning because of you, so I ask the appropriate questions. Do you have a truck mount system? Do you come back and reservice because stains wake up when things dry? So property managers have to educate themselves on what the services look like.
So, it's a good question. This is where the education, we're kind of blending all of these questions. How, if you can give a contractor one piece of advice, this is what it is. Again, educate the manager. You need to make sure that you tell them, this is for this service, this is what it is. If you want to go one step further, go ahead and give them the quote you're worried about them seeing. If you know that it's a building, you can walk into a building and you can see where it's located. The demographics of the city are quite clear.
Yes.
You can look in certain pockets of the city and know that they don't care about 10,000 or they care about 2,000. So you need to know where you're going. And if you know where you're going, to this first question and who you're seeing, when you send that quote, maybe send them a second quote that's for the lesser job you're worried about, so that you can push the better job, the more permanent job, or the better solution. So, you know, you can't stop somebody from saying, oh, I know this guy that does carpet cleaning, and he's gonna come in with his, you know, bristle or whatever, and he's gonna get it done. You can't stop that. But sometimes you also have to tell them, if we do it this way, this is the outcome, and I don't wanna take liability for you not being happy with the job because we're recommending this job. So it comes to the fact that you don't wanna have too many numbers on one sheet, but you give, this is the main quote, and then you have an explanation, and this is the quote that you may see that's going to get substandard results, but we'll still do it for you. But we're not guaranteeing the results of the first quote, that's 2,900, and this one's 1,800. So
if you book carpet cleaning in your building, make sure your janitors vacuum that floor the day before or the morning of, because you're just setting yourself up for defeat at that point if those carpets haven't been vacuumed.
Oh,
Right?
yeah, for sure. And another point that,
The scopes of work.
the scopes of work, but also the terminology. I mean, one thing that you were alluding to, David, is just carpet cleaning as a term. Well, what is it? And to a lot of people, it just seems very straightforward, but when there's different competing understandings of what that term means in terms of the scope of work, then that needs to be not only understood by the trade, who pretty much may assume, oh, you just know, but also the manager, but also to make sure that the council's aware of it as well. So they're able to not only understand what they're getting, but also to Ann's point about follow through and with the after effect, because I mean, the job starts, finishes, but then there's always that fallout as well, right? There's that day after. There's those deficiencies. There's those weird random questions that come up from somebody who just thinks that they know more than everybody else, and dealing with that from start to finish to after, a hangover almost.
On the scope thing, I think it was probably a decade ago was the first time I ever really thought about the fact that like carpets, as our current example, have like a manufacturer guideline for how to clean it, how to frequently they be maintained. Every building system does, so it almost doesn't matter what trade you're in. We do a lot of new construction in my world, and part of that is we try to put everything to that OM standard, and it gets to the point where we are literally sending the carpet manufacturing guideline to the carpet cleaner in year one. Because by the time that shows up and why we have to do it 3 times a year, we're now telling the client, this is what you have to do to keep your carpet warranty. So it gives them a pause, and that does extend to roofing and all sorts of other systems. And then I think like on the how to navigate them, the best thing the trades can often do is property managers have to know all of this stuff. And we have this like great surface knowledge of every single type of thing that goes on in a building. I don't know, I've never worked in trades once in my life, but I probably know this much where I can bullshit my way through every single one of them, just to get by for a cocktail hour. Every trade in this room that I know will go and talk to the client directly. Property managers are often hesitant sometimes because they're like, oh, my meeting's already gonna be 2 hours, I don't wanna be 2.5 because I have to bring in this person in this hearing. Do it outside the meeting. Offer it constantly. As long as you get the majority of that council in a room, it can be 20 minutes in an afternoon at 2 p.m. while they're at work. They'll do a Zoom, give them all the technical details, talk carpets till the cows come home, talk roofing, talk sprinkler, whatever it is. You've got their attention, they've got their quote. The PM's just gonna find out later that they like you and you got the job. Sometimes the thing that pushes you over the edge, if you're 15% more, is they have a conversation, they meet you because the council president met you on site, they like you. They looked you in the eye, they shook your hand, they're like, that's the human being who took the time to give me the explanation, we're in. Sometimes that's all it takes.
you got us all fired up here.
Apparently.
What's the fourth one?
Another thing, I'm a big under promise over deliver guy. If you ever deal with a manager, and for all trades, and you tell them it's going to be on Thursday, and you think that Thursday at 4 o'clock is Thursday, you're wrong. Thursday means Thursday by 10, right? If you're going to tell them you want to get it to them by Thursday, tell them you'll get it to them by Tuesday the next week, then get it to them on Friday. And then now you look good because you did it earlier than you said you would. Because as soon as you say to the manager, oh yeah, I'm going to get it to you by Thursday, they're checked out at 2:30. You've lost the room. So that means they're trying to get that email out, send it to the council by the 2:30 on a Thursday. It comes in at 4:30. You think you did your job right. You've lost it. So they actually, and I'm telling you, all managers think this way. So just under promise and over deliver. Don't say Tuesday if you can't do it by Thursday. Say Friday, and then send it on Wednesday. It's easy. But it's something that people don't do. I'm not the only one in this room that does that shit, because you guys are crazy if you don't. I don't tell anybody the day I'm gonna do something at all. I will say, I say Friday and I send it on Wednesday, so I always look like a king. I never look bad, right? So that's the answer to the last question. Okay, one piece of advice.
I'm gonna go to the last question here. If you could give contractors one piece of advice for working with property managers, what would it be? I'm gonna tell you, I operate my career where I'm so busy, if I send you an email, it's out of my brain, I expect you to respond. Right? Because our worlds are so busy. I taught you that a long time ago, David. Pick trades that will actually respond and move things
Just
forward.
to clarify, our worlds are busy, your worlds are busy, but our world's more important. So don't forget, right?
That's
what
true.
she's trying to say. That's what she's trying to say.
She's saying, I'm busy, you're busy, but I'm better. No,
Forward, please handle.
yeah, it's wide.
So I think that's one thing, and honestly, I don't care if a trade makes a mistake. I don't care. Don't apologize to me. I honestly don't care. I expect you're gonna make mistakes once in a while. It's normal. I do. Just fix them. And fix them quickly, right? So that I don't have to deal with my counsel in that regard. I'm also gonna tell you, if a trade does you a solid and fixes something quickly and it's filling up your cup, you let them quote on the rest of your portfolio and expand that relationship, guys. Right? And once again, my biggest problem is, I did an elevator modernization, for an example. The elevator modernization company, I will not list, never told me the elevator needed a phone line until they decided the elevator was up and running to go, and then decided to tell the owners that the property manager didn't get a phone line, and we've asked her, and she's never done anything, and I got trashed around the entire building. I will never use that elevator company again, right? So I always expect trades to have our backs, because I will always have my trades back. Also, pay your trades. If you don't pay them, they're not coming back, guys. Yeah, like, and if you are not gonna pay them, because honestly, if our councils don't let us, we can't step over that and pay it. Communicate with the trade, and that council treasurer who won't pay, all of a sudden is on Zoom with that trade explaining why they can't. Your bill gets paid. Right? So find every way possible to pay your trades. Councils can't just engage work and be like, well, we don't have the budget until next year. Well, why did you engage the work, and why did the property manager let that happen?
Right? Pay them.
Also, if you're the property manager who constantly asks the trade to forward you the quote by replying to the email where they sent you the quote 2 weeks ago,
They don't
yay,
pay you.
you're laughing because that happens all
All
the
the
time.
time.
Every day.
Please, try not to do that, but remember that you're doing that to them. These are the people that have your back.
Yeah.
No, and I think another thing that kind of came up in some of that talk was about like owning and taking care of mistakes.
Accountability.
Accountability
it's tough
is
for some.
huge. Like, we get it, there's a mistake, it happens. But also when something is noticed that is wrong, or you've observed something that needs attention, like there's a hole in the wall or something where there was a difficult situation with an owner. Let us know, and then we can handle it.
We can
Or
massage
we
it.
can massage that, or we can bring it to attention to council, or maybe we need another trade. Maybe we need an additional bit of service on top of the service that you're already providing in order to, in order to make that a better project. Because I mean, we've all been in situations where we think it's just the window, but then it's the wall. So, just making sure to communicate. You're on the ground, you're seeing things, let us know. And don't be afraid to let us know if it's bad. We're used to dealing with wild stuff. And so we have the tools and ability to handle it, just let us know.
So one thing I'll add is, so we always talk about in the office, like we have a new property manager, say you're doing a window cleaning project, and just send all the efficiencies will come to me and I'll give them to you. I'm like, no, we'll take care of that.
You feel those.
So we put systems in place right on that building notice says, here's what you do if you're not happy with the window, because people get overly dramatic about windows, we talked about it this morning. And we said, okay, do this, do this, do this, and if you're still not, there's a problem, email us directly. We take care of it. So we learned that 20 years ago, and I think if you have a new property manager, let the trades take care of the problems. If we can't, we will help, ask for help. But it increases the speed, it gets a direct line of communication, and we have a vested interest to make sure we take care of this as fast as we can, right? So
if you're talking about problems, you're a jerk. So if you've got a manager that you're working with and you're on a first name basis with, my hope is, and I try to encourage all of my managers, that the trades that you're working with, you should have their cell phone numbers. People are super anal about, I don't want to give them my cell phone number, but you have to understand that the office lines all go to your cell phone anyways, and they don't give out your cell. Like, you wouldn't give out my cell phone number, so on and so forth. But if there's a problem at a building and you can't call the trade directly on their direct line while they're on the road, running around, that trade isn't as good to you as you think they are, is what I'm trying to get at. So as a trade, you need to make yourself available so that they can get a hold of you. After that point, if they've talked to you, they've sent you a text or whatever, it's your job as the trade to then loop back to the manager so that they have that report in writing. Hi, thanks for the call, you told me about this, we're on it. Because then again, the manager gets to forward that to the council who reported it to them, and now they look good, you're on it, they know you're on it, but the loop is closed. So I push to the managers all the time that Strata is a circle. Everything in Strata is a circle. If you don't close the loop, there's something missing. Someone asks you to get a quote, you get the quote goes to the council approves the council, you go back to the trade and you give them the approval. It's a circle, everything is like that. So if somebody leaves something out of that circle, someone's not knowing, and then you're looking, you don't look as good as you could. Because in the end, trust is built over time. Ann says that her councils, you like the trade, we're gonna use them again next year. That happens after 2 or 3 years. All the councils just say, yeah, you know what's best, go ahead and get it done. But if you're working with managers for a first time, just can expect that they don't know what they're doing. Go the extra mile to explain those things, build that relationship with them, utilize them as the tool that you need to make money, because they don't give a shit who makes the money. I'm not gonna lie, they really don't care. They just don't wanna have to worry about it. So you just have to set yourself apart.
No, and I agree, David. And agents who wanna manage more buildings make more money. The only way you can do that is if you have a great roster of trades and a great relationship with trades. Because you're not dealing with 3 million problems that come out of every time you send someone to service a building. So your life becomes easier, your email count goes down, which is our entire hope in life right now, right? And you'll retain clients and pick up other clients. So pick your service providers wisely. Get to know your service providers. Let your councils get to know them.
Let's see why you chose that name now.
I was gonna say on the junior manager side of things,
Service.
when you know you have a new manager, even though they're not always gonna be at the site, find out when they're going to be, get a chance to meet them there, like especially if you have like a technical side of things, or if you're getting on the roof or in the mechanical side. Like, the very first time I ever walked through a parkade when I was like 22, I think. That's about right.
Yeah.
The HVAC guy was just like, I knew nothing. It was obvious my suit was too big. And I didn't know gas lines were yellow. I had no idea. And he was like, do you know gas lines are yellow? And I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing right now. And so he walked me through, he spent 2 hours with me at that building and taught me how boilers work, this work, that work, that work. Still know that person today.
Yeah.
Like, those are the types of things that when it's really technical, just find the way to get yourself in there so that you become the person that they're like, hey, that's my go-to person about X type of business or X type of service. Even if you're not working on that building, if you always have that person's ear, you'll get it eventually. Like, these relationships last a long time unless you burn the manager out. But I feel like we left out the on-site staff entirely.
They're your best friends.
Forget it.
No, yeah, I think the building managers, the concierge staff. Back to like the very first part that we were talking about with the context of going there, you do need to know what power that building manager holds or doesn't hold in the building. There are building managers that operate their entire communities like it is their personal fiefdom.
They're little dictators.
And they have everybody on lockdown. They've got the council in their back pocket, and the property manager just shows up and writes minutes and has no power. You need to know if that's who you're dealing with.
Yeah.
Because some of those people do that very well, and they're actually the decision maker. If you don't know that,
And that's up to
You're on
the
the wrong
agent
spot, yeah.
to tell them.
The agent has to tell you, but you
Yeah.
also have to know, if you're going to the building and they tell you that this person is a hard ass, you can call them and ask them if they want a coffee. And bring them a damn coffee. Get on the bright side
Yeah.
of people. You guys take managers out to lunches all the time. The managers get to eat like kings and they get to do all that. Talk to the managers and say, listen, we're giving you some quotes. Rather than me taking you out to lunch, like, what about your caretaker that's there that's running this thing? Go and bring him too. Why don't you both go? And get the manager and the caretaker to go together so you can meet that person. Find out those types of things, because those managers, those site managers, you're right. Some of them, they are the boss. And we come in and it's like, okay, what do you want to do? And if they say that you're good, you're good. So I'm not trying to tell you to bribe them. I'm trying to butter them up, butter them up with sugar and sweets and wine, and all the things. Create a relationship. The same thing that you do to managers. At Christmas time, what happens? We open up our freaking office door and there's wine and chocolates and all that stuff flying around. Why can't you do the same for somebody else? Tell the manager, you're not going to drink that wine. Let me give it to somebody that matters to you.
There's some council members as well that operate like a building manager, and it is their own little fiefdom kingdom as well. And yeah, treat them accordingly as well too. Butter them up. It's the same thing where I noticed that one of the managers of my team is having a hard time working with the building manager. It's like, get them out for coffee. Show up, shake their hand, give them a donut and a fresh Timmy's. They'll be your
I take it one step.
Better than Timmy's.
Yeah.
Be better than Tim, at least
Come on,
now.
that's some of that downtown
Go
building
to-
maybe.
Yeah, well, you see, I work out in the valley. It's a little bit different, so.
I'm gonna tell you, there's trades in this room that very well know I'll get offered hockey tickets to something. My first question back is, can I give them to the building manager at XYZ building? I do that all the time. I don't use service in buildings. I don't obviously solicit quotes from my brother, but I inherit him in quite a few buildings. And then obviously they know, but like I've got a building where I said, service does your carpet cleaning. I explained the situation. Sanjay, my head concierge, is like, no, I love them. We are keeping them no matter what. Because whoever the gentleman might be in the room here cleans the carpets at 1331 West Georgia, he's in love with you. You've done your job. You've created that relationship. Right?
Think about.
Take a bow, sir, because I'm going to tell you, I get an email every time you clean those carpets and how great you are, right? And that's what I want, right?
Do we want to ask questions?
Uh-oh.
Or things that
No,
you
managers-
didn't say.
Managers don't ask questions. Managers.
We have
in the
trades
room,
here.
Everyone has questions, and then they're all too afraid to put the damn.
Well, we have trades here too.
So,
Does anybody anything they want to also go over, or? Oh, here we go. Hey, Carl.
Yeah, so for me, means of communication are very important. You talked about having a cell number in your phone, but that's the ultimate problem is you've got to navigate how to communicate to everybody and it's not the same. Isn't that the case?
You're a social chameleon, yes.
Yeah, emailing is like a long drawn out painful conversation, right? And then you have to pick up the phone or you have to go to the property and do something. And my question is, can you operate virtually, not going to the buildings, not having a hands-on feel for it and be a good Strata agent?
No.
In my opinion, you cannot.
My view is no, the same, yeah.
So prior to COVID, every single person, every manager went to a building, say 5 times a year. Why? Because you did your council meetings at 6 p.m. and there wasn't a
And
conversation.
you were there.
There wasn't a conversation about it. You had to go. Then COVID hit and everyone loaded up on buildings and did everything virtual, made their bank. And then when COVID stopped and everyone started having to go back to buildings and do site meetings, everyone complained that they're overworked and they can't do it. So you can't
That's a
manage
really good
buildings. You can't manage buildings effectively without knowing where stairwell number 3 is. You have to know exactly where things are. And then you don't need to go, my managers all go to the buildings once a month. It's not negotiable. It's not that much to ask, but it's during business hours. You can't find your way to a building between 10:30 and 2 when there's no traffic. What the hell are you doing?
If you
But
haven't
in that
marked up
sense-
your strata plan,
In that sense, all your meetings are now electronic. So you get to have a trade-off. You get to go during business hours to your buildings. Your value is created from a management standpoint, and then in the evenings, you get to sit at home with boxers on and a collared shirt.
And call it.
Everybody wins. So you have to, yes, communication is tough, but you can't be in this industry or in any industry that's email based, in sales or otherwise, and not know that your phone is emails, calls, texts. Like that's life.
Oh, you can't be in this business if you don't like people. You gotta talk to
I
them all,
hate people.
I know you do, you gotta talk to them all day long.
To go back to the gentleman's point
Over there too, I mean, there's communicating, and then there's communicating smartly
Effectively.
and effectively. And we talked, going back to the quote example, providing those open channels of communication, dealing with deficiencies. Communicate enough, but don't communicate too much. If it's too busy, nobody's gonna read it, nobody's gonna understand, or nobody's gonna listen. Short, concise, to the point, like it's someone who's has a lot of things going on in their lives, or other things going on all over the place. Just short, simple, and to the point is always the best way.
And I think if an agent goes to a building without actually getting your strata plan out and marking up your strata plan before you get there, it's a silly move. Units don't run in sequential order. 308 is not necessarily going to be above 208. Strata plans have strata lot numbers, not unit numbers on them. Owners deal in unit numbers. Mark out your strata plans. Mark out all of the areas. If you've got a section building and you can't tell me that your elevator is LCP for residential, what contractor are you meeting with on site, right? So I always tell my agents, mark up a strata plan, invite a council member, invite a building manager if you're fortunate enough to have one, and you are walking every inch of that building. To the point where David said, if you don't know where stairwell 3 is, you're not doing your job. And how can you tell a trade where to go if you don't know? And if you don't walk around a building, you're not going to know what problems you're going to encounter in certain areas. You don't know if you have, like Ingleduck, where you guys clean the windows. 4-story up, super high, that you wouldn't even know there were windows there because you can't see them from the ground. The property manager needs to communicate that and know those things, right?
Good question.
It was intentional, and I think as well, would you go, if you're gonna go to the on-site, go with a plan.
Yeah.
If you're gonna say something to somebody, think of what you want to convey to them, or what you want them to absorb from that. Think think proactively about what you want to achieve by this. And sometimes that can mean I need to pick up the phone. Sometimes that means I need to get a meeting together. Sometimes that means I can just send a quick email.
If I have to send 3 emails on one topic, I'm picking up the phone because I'm wasting my time and their time. And that includes owners.
I really like the site visit with intent
Yes.
as an idea.
Yeah.
A site visit is not 15 minutes before your council meeting
No.
starts. That's a lazy site visit.
So
It's for a purpose, with intent.
Yes.
for the managers that are here, and again, this is free for you to make yourself look good for anybody. Thank you.
If you announce to your strata council, and if you want to be a super big keener and use your whatever portal you have, and you announce to the building that you're coming,
Oh, God.
just announce. I know you say God knows, but here's the thing: if they don't know you're coming, start with the council. Let them know.
Oh.
After a while, if you know the building and they like you, you're not getting a bunch of crazy emails. You know the ownership group.
Oh, yeah.
I want to be announced because again, it just makes me look good.
You like
You're
to
going to
be
show up.
announced.
No, of course, I'm going to be announced.
Do
of
they
course.
put a red carpet out
And
for you?
100%. Have coffee? No, but you go there, and now the building is going to say, wow, this person is coming for us. The 30 minutes that you'll talk to the 10 owners that show up in the freaking foyer or whatever is going to save you 50 emails over the course. And after you do that a few times, they're not afraid to call you. When they email you, they say, hey, how's it going? Their attitude changed because now you're a human being. You're not just this asshole, pardon my language, that's on the other end of an email who takes 3 days to get back to them, who never gives them the answer that they want because you're just trying to follow the direction of the council.
And they all just hate us from the
So
beginning.
take it or leave it, but if you want to be better with your councils, I'm telling you, announce when you're going to the building, and if after you go a few times, tell the building, I'm going to be here on this day. See what happens with the
I
attitude
also
of the
give
building.
owners, David, when I send out an AGM package and there's a significant special levy or a bunch of new bylaws, I don't want to be at that AGM for 4 hours that night. I go on Zoom for 1 hour, 1 week before that AGM. Any owner can come and ask council a single question at that point in time. My AGMs are down to an hour and a half.
Yeah, there's, like, I would say two things as well, like I'm not personally a big town hall person, but I did learn something from someone who's been doing it twice as long as I have a couple months ago, where he had one of those owners ahead of an AGM, and it was constant, just pages and pages of stuff. He set up a meeting with the guy, he spent 45 minutes with him 2 days before the meeting. Guy shows up at the AGM, shakes his hand, and said nothing the whole meeting.
Exactly.
He was going to cause all the problems of that meeting, and they were in and out of there in an hour and a half in a 300-something unit building.
It works. You gotta know your clientele.
And also from like a trade perspective, when you're coming to an AGM and presenting on a project, especially major projects, we've all as managers sat and watched you or been in that audience and taken notes. Come with a prepared presentation. Come with a really good set of notes. Come with that quote. The more reports you have, the better. Make it sound like you understand and know that building and that context and that problem. And you're here with solutions and options, and you're willing to back it up and guarantee it. We want that to be short and quick. The owners want it to be short and quick, and so do the councils as well. Nobody, even you, want to be sitting through a 5-hour meeting.
You lose your audience.
You
in an
lose
hour
your
and a half.
audience, and the more people are there, the more mad they're gonna get, and the more they might vote with that mad feeling. If they're happier, they're gonna vote a lot more proactively for something that is inspiring and visionary, not like, oh, that guy wasted my time. No. I'm against that guy. So, or, oh, what do you mean you didn't know that roof was done 10 years ago?
I mean, we're going, like, we've all been to a meeting where you see like $2 million of work approved in 30 minutes, and you're like, oh, well, it's crazy. And it's because of all the effort that goes into it, and a lot of those are sort of advanced efforts from trades, like the partners in the building for project XYZ. So, yeah, like from the property management side, lean into your trades. They are your sort of your best friend, your best ally on it, but you also have to be able to fire them, look them in the eye, shake their hand, and hire them the next day.
And they get the game. They know it. Right?
Okay, well, I smell the food.
So what?
And so David stopped talking, we smelled the food.
I've been hungry.
I heard that. You get hyper when you get hungry? I can see it.
You skip lunch for this, right?
So first of all, this was really good. I've been in this business now for a long time, servicing Stratas, and the input we got from you guys, we should have done this 15 years ago. It's lessons that we have learned, but sometimes the hard way, okay, by making the mistakes and having failures and how to recover. So thank you very much, guys. This was awesome. So now we've got a little bar in the back there. I think the food will be ready any second. And Kevin wants to talk to you there. But again, guys, I mean, thank you very much. I hope to see you guys again next year. Thanks for coming.